Well, welcome everybody. There has been a little bit of a change because of the fact that we are recording this session for the TLI makeups, and I wanted to cover a topic that would be a little more general for everyone, not just area and division directors meeting. So anyway, let's get right into it. Why do I need to help build more clubs? Does anybody have an answer to that question?
Healthy clubs means a healthy district.
Healthy clubs means a healthy district. Thank you.
Because without clubs, there's no Toastmasters.
That's good too. Well, let's just talk about a little bit about this. The district mission states that we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. So we have this mission to build new clubs, but at the club level, does that really apply? The club mission, let me read that to you, is that we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. When it comes down to that leadership portion, helping to build a new club is a great way to improve your leadership skills. But really, when we get down to the club level, what's in it for me? Could it be that I'm working towards DTM credit? And what do I need to do to help build a club? Well, we're going to talk today about serving as a club mentor and serving as a club coach. That's what could be in it for you. All right. So what's required of a club mentor? Well, a mentor works as the friend of the club. A new club that is just getting off the ground needs some experienced Toastmasters to help with the whole transition into getting the club going, having them build their culture, etc. So you're going to build a rapport with the club. You're going to help make sure that club is strong and functional. You're going to help that club figure out all the nuances of TI. One good way to do this is by conducting the successful club series. You want to make sure that the club leaders are getting trained at the district level through the TLIs and the club officer trainings that we offer. And a really good idea is to conduct at least the module on how to be a distinguished club that's part of the successful club program. Each club needs to develop a culture and build positive habits. And that's going to make them a quality club. And then that club has culture that's different for each one. And you want to share the club's progress. Can I see in the chat, or come off mute and tell me, what is something that your club does that you've seen that other clubs don't do? And while you're thinking about that, let me tell you something that we do in my club, which is the TMHP Toastmasters. We have this thing. It's called the TMHP Traveling Trophy. And each week we pass this award virtually now because we're a virtual club from one member to the next. And let's say, for example, that I had received the award last week. I would give this award to somebody for no particular reason, just maybe because I liked something they said, or maybe they're a new member who took on a role. This is something that we pass from member to member. And when we were in person, you had to bring it back the next week to pass it on to the next person. Well, virtually, we don't do that. So, all right, Brendan says that they have a good listener role. Brendan, can you tell us a little bit about that role and what that is?
Yes, I can, Kevin. Our club instituted it officially in 2022, or we reinstated it. And basically what it is someone has a chance to listen, and their only job is to listen to everybody's speeches and the table topics. And then we have a group collective fun quiz at the end of the meeting to make sure that people are listening.
Okay. In the chat, if you would please, tell me, How many of you say the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of your meeting?
I could put together.
Oh, here's something. Our club schedules a
Zoom, okay.
30-minute onboarding session with each new member to mutually align with expectations. Great. Looks like a lot of you do use the Pledge of
Oh,
Allegiance.
we can coordinate.
So that's all about club culture. So what's required for a club coach? Well, a lot of the same stuff. A club coach would be an experienced Toastmaster. They're partnering up with a club that's working to rebuild membership and restore the quality of that club, and really focusing on the member experience. Remember, we all joined Toastmasters for a specific reason, whether it was to improve our speaking skills or to become a better leader or just to get over stage fright. We all have a reason why we joined Toastmasters. And helping people refocus on what that was is a great way to build the quality of the members experience. The club coach's biggest job is to help that club reach distinguished, to be part of the distinguished club program and to reach distinguished. Now, to be eligible to be appointed as a club coach, you need to be a paid member in good standing with TI. Makes sense, right? You cannot be an existing paid member of the club at the time of appointment, nor for at least the 6 months prior to the appointment. You need to have been a member of Toastmasters International for at least 1 year. You need to have served as a club officer for an annual term or 2 semi-annual terms. And you need to complete level 2 in a path. And you also need to have completed the club coach program training module in Basecamp. So there's a few things that you've got to do. Now, one of the things that you might look at this, if you were to look up this on the TI website, I say have completed a minimum of level 2 in a path. There's also some information about the legacy program. But quite honestly, if you're not to a level 2 in a path, I don't think we want you as a club coach, because where have you been for these last several years? You need to be working on your paths as well. So I would encourage you, if you are still a competent communicator or advanced leader or something like that, that you get to going on your paths if you want to be a club coach. So how do you go about building a Toastmasters club? One of the most important things that you need to do is take a look at this document, How to Build a Toastmasters Club. And I'm going to slide over here so that I'm out of the way. This document is one that Toastmasters International has put together to help with 6 basic steps for building a new club. We're going to go through those, but I encourage each of you to take a look at this document and see what's in there. So here are the 6 steps for building a Toastmasters club. 1, you've got to learn how Toastmasters work. Now, obviously, we're already in the program, so we know this. But if you're a brand new person to Toastmasters, this document will certainly help you to know what you need to do to learn how Toastmasters work. Who can give me an idea of what is a good way to learn about how Toastmasters works? It may seem obvious, maybe a real simple question, but please put that in the chat if you would. Go to a meeting, ask questions. Yeah, if you haven't been to a Toastmasters meeting before and you're working with someone who has never been to a Toastmasters meeting before, encourage them to go to some other clubs and not just rely on the demo meetings that you're putting together to see what a club is like. Next, you need to look at what kind of a club you want to form. You'll request a club sponsor. That's going to be someone who is going to guide you through the chartering process. You're going to generate interest. You're going to charter your club. And finally, you're going to celebrate. So like I said before, I should have advanced the slide, but if you check out different clubs, you can leverage the experience of experienced Toastmasters to find out how Toastmasters works. Next, you need to decide what kind of a club you're going to form. And there's 2 basic types. There's the corporate club or the community club. And then you've got three flavors of that. You've got the in-person, the online, or the hybrid club. So back when I started Toastmasters, hybrid was barely a thing. There might have been a few out there that were trying it, but with COVID, boy, did we learn how to do hybrid and online. So let's talk a little bit about what this club sponsor would help with. Marketing the new club, helping get the word out, presenting a demonstration meeting, or as we like to say it, a kickoff meeting, helping people complete the forms, and boy, has this been a nightmare. I thought they would be pretty straightforward just to fill out the forms and send them into TI. But you know, it is not just that straightforward. There is a lot of nuances to those forms, and you need somebody to help guide you through that. That's why we have club growth directors, club extension chairs, et cetera, to help us with that. And then finally, getting the club all the way through the charter process to the point where they actually are chartered. So, where do you go and what do you do to generate interest in your club? Well, it's going to depend on whether or not you are a corporate club or a community club. For corporate clubs, you can work with the human resources manager. And as I've worked with some corporate clubs this year, I found that those HR people are really motivated in helping to improve their people. You'll help with putting together a demonstration meeting. That's always a great idea to help people see what they're going to be in for as a Toastmaster. And you need to publicize that demonstration meeting. In a corporate environment, that's pretty much easy. It's pretty easy because you'll be able to promote it through the communication channels that are available in the corporation. For community clubs, it's a little different, but there are places where you can put it. You need to first and foremost come up with a location of where you would be able to have your club. And you want to hold the demonstration meeting. But the promotion of that could be a little trickier because you might want to look into putting something in the local newspaper or the community impact, something like a bulletin boards at the library or other public gathering places. Don't forget, a lot of laundromats have bulletin boards where you could put up a poster or a flyer as well. And then, of course, social media and good old word of mouth. Get the word out to all your friends, either through your Facebook pages, Nextdoor, WhatsApp, however you communicate with people. If you are chartering a club, what does it take? Well, there's a bunch of forms. And I alluded to the fact that these forms can be a little bit complicated. And there's 7 of them. Now, why 6A and B are named A and B, I'm not sure. It would have been easier if they would have just named one Form 7. But anyway, first of all, you've got to put together an application to organize a Toastmasters Club. Makes sense, right? You need to have your charter payments. And of course, sometimes people send that in with the application to organize the club. You're looking at $125 to charter the club, $20 plus tax for each new person, and that's going to include their first pathway. So that's why there's tax on that, because they're actually getting a deliverable. And then their membership dues for the first 6 months. Okay. Then you also want to, so you're not hitting people up for money right away, you also might want to consider charging them the additional prorated fees till the next renewal period so that they're all in line with that. So so you're not hitting up people for money twice in a row in a short amount of time. Then there's the charter membership application, and this is where you get the personal information for each member of the club. And remember, to organize a new club from scratch, it takes 20 people to sign up. That's the minimum. Can anybody tell me why it's why 20 is the magic number for Toastmasters?
Hey, Kevin, it's Amy.
Yes.
So if I remember correctly, it's because of turnover and people leaving. And so the just at 20 helps you to also have, good representation or good membership if you have people leave. But also it helps with the meetings themselves to make sure that they're not duplicate roles being played or triplicate roles being played by one person. That's my input.
That is great input. And we know that healthy clubs are clubs that are over 20, and that's where we want to keep people in good standing. And so there is going to be attrition. Uh, there's Toastmasters has found that overall you can expect to lose 40% of your membership on an annual basis. That means that you always have to be recruiting, always, always, always. So we have the membership application. Okay. Club officer information. Now, this is something that trips up a lot of clubs as they're going through the charter process, because it's like, well, you expect me to have a president and a vice president of either membership education or public relations, and a secretary, and possibly a treasurer, and a sergeant at arms. There's all these 7 people. I don't even know. I don't I don't know enough about the role. Don't worry about that. Get your 3 most gung-ho members to sign up as president, vice president of education, and secretary. Get them on the forums, and then you can hold elections later too, after people are a little more comfortable with the roles, to expand that to the 7. Then you have information about the club constitution and an agreement for that. And then if you're going to do some options on your club, uh, the standard club options, if you're going to make changes to those, there's a form for that as well. The last piece of this is celebrating. I can tell you, having just chartered a new club called Centra, that the atmosphere in that club is electric. And to celebrate, that is really good. I'm having such a great time in this role, being able to see these new clubs come together and form. And in celebrating, you want to work on some things to help make sure that the meetings are successful. You want to have a firm start time and end time. You don't want to waste anybody's time. You want to make sure that you're distributing a complete agenda ahead of time, and that you want to ideally always have 2 speakers, 2 evaluators, and have thought-provoking table topics. And especially with these new clubs, everyone should have the opportunity to speak. So that means that your table topics master really should focus on those members of the club who have not yet had a chance to speak. That's not always possible, and sometimes we have some wallflowers that are a little bit shy, but the whole point of them being in Toastmasters is to step outside that comfort zone and to participate. Honestly, do you really come to a Toastmasters meeting and not want to talk? All right. So, what makes a successful demonstration meeting? And you're going to guide these new members through a typical meeting, and you've got your Toastmaster, your timer, your AW counter or grammarian, your general evaluator, speakers. This should say speakers because you always want to have more than one. Evaluators, more than one, and your topics master. I really enjoy being topics master. I've found that there are lots of resources online to help me with that. Can any of you give us an example of a place to get good table topics ideas? How many of you have used the National Day calendar that's online to come up with a theme for your Toastmasters table topics? Today, Wendy informed us at the beginning of our meeting that February 24th, 2024, when we're holding this meeting, was National Sword Swallowers Day. Boy, I'll tell you, that opens up a whole bunch of ideas for me for table topics. Would you ever swallow a sword? If you had to be in a circus sideshow, what would be your talent? All kinds of ideas of things that could come up from just that one day. And if you look at the National Day calendar, there's usually 7 or 8 different days that are being celebrated that day. Recently, it was National Annoy Squidward Day. For those of you who aren't familiar, Squidward is a cartoon character from the SpongeBob SquarePants cartoons. And we had a whole table topic all about SpongeBob. I know that sounds silly, but they were a lot of fun and we had a great time with it. During the meeting, you want to make sure that you keep the meetings short and on time. And you do want to include your table topics, prepare a prepared speech, and an evaluation. You want to invite decision makers of the corporation to come, or invite influential members of the community, the mayor, the city council. All those folks could be really great at helping you to promote your club. And then after the meeting, you want to share those success stories. You want to get sponsors and mentors to there. You want to talk about what the next meeting is going to entail and who's going to take what role. Of course, you want to talk about fees. You don't want to blindside anybody with an expectation that they're going to be putting out some money for this program. If appropriate, you want to collect your payments and also your membership applications. I should say membership applications, not renewals. And then, of course, there are the questions and answers. As I wrap this up, we're going to have some time for some questions, but I want to help everybody remember the best investment you will ever make is in yourself. And that's a quote from Warren Buffett. And I think it really applies to Toastmasters. For the price of $10 a month or 2 Starbucks drinks, if you're lucky, a lot of times they're more than $5, but for 2 Starbucks cups of coffee once a month, you can improve your speaking skills, your leadership skills, and work towards your personal goals. With this chartering of the new club, you want to keep everybody enthusiastic and excited about it. Keep that momentum going. And you want to follow up with thank you notes and meeting reminders, confirming the roles for the next meeting. And in conclusion, even though building Toastmasters clubs takes a lot of effort and a lot of time, it is incredibly rewarding. You're going to learn valuable experiences, and you'll have valuable experiences and learning moments. And really, this is a great way to enhance your skill set. So with that, we have about 4 minutes left, and I'd like to open up for any questions that people have about the process. Anybody have any questions out there, like maybe how you can get involved or what it would take? I noticed in the chat that Chris Miller put in that you can sign up to volunteer for club sponsor, mentor, or coach positions at the TMD55.org website under the volunteer tab. Well, with that, this has been Kevin Clark, your club growth director. And I just want to thank everybody for their time today. And I now turn the time back over to our program quality director, Yiting Liu. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kevin. It's actually, you all know that we're all busy with the contests. However, the membership renewal comes up for the next renewal period by the end of March. So this is also the time for you to encourage and work with the club officers to conduct open houses and contact the former members who are no longer renewed and bring them back to the club. So I know it's a lot of work. We just got done with TOI. We're in the middle of a contest, and now we have to keep the membership in mind as well. Well, thank you very much, Kevin, for your wonderful training. And Kevin has been a great member of a trail to support all of us.